Okay, in this video we're going to be making a Lego 2x1 brick, and I've gone ahead and created a new file for it. And we're going to go ahead and get started with the new extrude. We'll select the top surface and orient sketch view. And we have, once again, our drawing standards for the 2x4 Lego brick, which we'll be using to create a 2x1 Lego brick, just this little tiny chunk of it. So the first thing we need to do is draw a rectangle, and I'm going to select center rectangle, and we'll go ahead and pick that out, middle click to deselect, and this is going to be our surface, the longer surface. So we'll have the first stud here and the second one here, because remember this is the top view. So we're going to want this distance right here. This is going to be the front view. This edge right here is going to be the front view on our model. So we need a distance for that, and if we look at these, you can see the distance can be 0.625. 0.625. Go ahead and enter that in. And now we need this distance, which is going to be the depth. This distance right here, which we are not given, but we are given the total distance, which is 1.25. And we can just divide that by 4. 1.25 divided by 4. Now, if you're wondering why it seems like I'm switching these, like I'm using the left to right dimension for the top to bottom dimension, that's because this piece is actually rotated in the view. Uh, so we're actually looking at it as if this was top to bottom and this was left to right. That might make more sense after we hit OK. You can zoom in a bit, and you can see we have. Well, let's go ahead and get a height, and then I'll show you. Height is going to be over here on the right side view. 0.375, same as always. 0.375. Okay, that Control D to reorient the piece. Okay, so this is what we were looking at. So here's the 2x4. This is what we want, the 2x1. Okay, so let's go ahead and put the stud on top. Select this top surface, orient to sketch view, and select the circle. And notice how my mouse snaps into this line. I'm going to place it roughly here, make it roughly that size. And let's go ahead and put in the diameter. Diameter, you can see the diameter symbol, the circle with the line through it, and the diameter is 0.19. 0.19. And the distance from either edge is going to be 0.1565. 0.1565. So we're going to go ahead and use dimension because we are not measuring from this center line, which does not actually exist on a real physical piece. We're going to be measuring from this edge, which does exist. So we're going to left click here, and middle click, and I use dimension. And then we can enter in our dimensions, which is going to be 0.1565. 0.1565. Okay, now we have strong dimensions. You can see they both say strong. That's because we entered in exact values. Go ahead and OK that, and we need a height. And they've chosen to give us the height over here on the right side view. Excuse me, right here. This is the height of the brick, and this is the height of the stud. This could have been on any of these four, but they just chose to put it on the front view. So the height of the stud is going to be 0.078. 0.078. And we'll create that. And at this point, there are a few things that we can do. We can either extrude again, just like we did on the surface to create a second stud. Or we could pattern it this way, or we could mirror it. The mirroring is actually the simplest thing to do here. You don't want to pattern it because it's just one. If it was 3 or 4 or maybe 4 in a square, like on a 2x2 Lego brick, then patterning might be a good idea. But for this, the simplest thing to do is simply just a mirror. So we'll just select the feature that we just created. And notice how mirror goes from being grayed out if nothing is selected over here in the model tree. It's grayed out. If I select it, now it's available. If I click on it, it's going to ask us select a plane to mirror about, and we're going to select this plane because this is the one that splits the two studs into symmetrical halves. So we'll select this plane right here, and you can see it pops up right there. And we'll select OK. Okay, now we just need a shell at the bottom. So we'll select shell, click on the bottom, and we just need a shell thickness. So we can go over here and you can see it says shell right here on the bottom view, which of course is the most logical view for it to be on. And you can see the shell thickness is 0.052. 0.052. And select OK. And now on a 2x4, we have these larger size tubes that help to help the Lego bricks to connect to each other. On a 2x1, we would have smaller size tubes because these large ones require at least a 2x4 in order to fit. They wouldn't fit on a 2x1. So since we don't have the dimensions for these smaller tubes, we're just going to leave it empty like this. Okay, let's save our work, and we are done.